I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying, you know what I mean?
Says to Time magazine that in particular she's got a problem with Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle making jokes about trans people directly leads to violence.
Being the comic that he is, Dave Chappelle has made comments that appear to have enraged Megan Rapinoe because she is now accusing him of assault. However, despite accusing the comedian of violence, Megan has come under fire for supposedly lying because it is thought that she hasn't offered any proof of the claimed acts of aggression.
When? What specific instances? Because you're making that up. It's a bunch of...
I think that it's important to first say the truth.
What kind of violence, therefore, is Megan accusing Dave Chappelle of? Whom have Dave Chappelle's jokes injured? Let's delve deeply into the tea. Comedian Dave Chappelle is partially responsible for violence against transgender individuals, according to the great American women's soccer star. She launched what is now referred to as a deranged approach to humor. Sage Steele and Dave Chappelle are to blame for whatever issues transgender persons may experience.
Out and says to Time magazine that in particular she's got a problem with Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle making jokes about trans people directly leads to...
She didn't stop there, though. She seems to believe that jokes made by Dave Chappelle, Sage Steele, and tennis great Martina Navratilova about how trans women rule women's sports cause issues for the trans community. Rapinoe expressed her displeasure with Dave Chappelle, Martina Navratilova, and Sage Steele in a comprehensive article for Time magazine published before the Women's World Cup because of their resistance to transgender athletes competing in women's sport. I want to be completely honest about it, Rapinoe said. Dave Chappelle making jokes about trans people directly leads to violence, whether it's verbal or otherwise, against trans people. She continued saying when Martina or Sage or whoever are talking about this, people aren't hearing it just in the context of elite sports. They're saying, the rest of my life, this is how I'm going to treat trans people. You did indeed hear that accurately. Therefore, in Megan's opinion, transgender people's problems are caused by Dave Chappelle. Does this imply that everything would be perfect for trans people if Dave Chappelle hadn't made these jokes? Rapinoe went on to criticize the legislation aimed at transgender athletes. Particularly annoying is when women's sports become militarized. She said, "Oh, now we care about fairness? Now we care about women's sports? That's total bulls. And show me all the trans people who are nefariously taking advantage of being trans in sports. It's just not happening." When she also stated that she would have no difficulty allowing a transgender woman on her team, contradicting Navratilova's reasoning. The speculation that she was considering entering politics as her football reign was drawing to an end intensified online. In a recent opinion piece, Navratilova stated the World Athletics decision to forbid trans women from competing as women in international track and field championships wasn't strong enough. In the wake of World Athletics' announcement, I think the best idea would be to have biological female and biological girls categories, and then an open category. Navratilova wrote in the Times of London, advancing her belief that trans women are taking the spot of biological women in these sporting events. She said it would be a category for all comers: cisgender men, cisgender women, transgender men and transgender women, and non-binary people. It would be a catch-all, adding that swimming and athletics in Britain were already investigating this. Rapinoe disagreed with Navratilova's points, saying it was transphobic to divide players with differing biological capacities. You are standing in for a genuine woman. That is the argument that is still incredibly anti-trans, Rapinoe told Time. I see trans women as real women. What you're saying automatically in the argument, you're sort of telling on yourself already, is you don't believe these people are women. Therefore, they're taking the other spot. I don't feel that way. Now that she won't be competing in soccer, the public is wondering if she made that decision because the surviving women will face opponents who are physically stronger than they are.
This does come as she is retiring and therefore not in a position where she herself will have to compete again.
Rapinoe revealed last week that she will retire at the conclusion of the 2023 season during a press conference. Since she joined the American women's soccer team in 2006, she has become a mainstay on the squad. I could have just never imagined where this beautiful game would have taken me, Rapinoe told the New York Times. I feel so honored to have represented this country, this federation for so many years. The vocal figurehead of American women's soccer is probably going to play a smaller part on the pitch this time, acting as an elder mentor to younger players. Rapinoe's remarks follow Chappelle's Netflix special, The Closer, which was broadcast in October 2021, and in which he talked up about transgender issues and defended J.K. Rawling, who has been accused of being transphobic.
When I ever been mad at the transgender community is because I was at a club in LA and danced with one of these for 6 songs straight. I had no idea. And we ended up having breakfast.
Chappelle made several jokes on transgender people in the special, including one in which he referred to himself as Team Torv, short for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. Netflix employees staged a walkout in protest of the special after Chappelle's remarks sparked accusations of being transphobic from transgender activists and allies. The company eventually removed a disclaimer from the special that had stated that Chappelle's jokes were not to be taken seriously. Rapinoe was one of the most well-known athletes to criticize Chappelle's remarks, and her words have elicited a range of responses. She has received both praise and criticism for speaking out, with some accusing her of attempting to restrict Chappelle. Some people also contend that she ought to have proof of the violence that was committed and the person who was harmed. If you're going to accuse Dave Chappelle's comedy of inciting violence against trans people, you better have some concrete evidence, according to several of these people. Megan Rapinoe accuses Dave Chappelle outright of inciting violence against transgender people. Who is violent? Who has Dave Chappelle injured then? Is the question that everyone is asking. What particular joke specifically led to a brutal assault on a trans person? Megyn Kelly, who has charged Megan of irresponsibility, is one of the loudest critics of Megan Rapinoe's remarks.
True, and it's something activists like Megan Rapinoe use to try to silence dissenting voices, and it's really...
It appears that Megan Rapinoe thinks that words have greater value than deeds, and according to Megan, that is a tried-and-true method for individuals to silence others they don't like. Since everything he says on stage is only comedy and should be viewed as such, Dave Chappelle has stated that he genuinely does love and appreciate trans people. He said, "Oh, I'm jealous. I'm not the only black person that feels this way. We look at the gay community, we go, God damn it. Look at how well that movement is going. Look at how well you are doing. And we've been trapped in this predicament for hundreds of years. How the FK are you making that kind of progress?" But Chappelle goes on to say that there's a major difference between the younger gays, who he feels are overly sensitive about, and the old-school gangsta gays who pushed for change during the Stonewall era. "I'm not that fond of these newer gays. Too sensitive, too brittle. Those aren't the gays I grew up with. They fought for their freedom. I respect that." O.J. Simpson, a former NFL running back, took issue with Megan's remarks that she regards transgender athletes as real women and would have no difficulty playing on the same team as a transgender woman, while she was accusing Dave Chappelle of assault. Simpson disagreed with her and added that Rapinoe's remarks were demeaning to biological women. He claimed that transgender athletes had an unfair advantage in women's sports. He posted on Twitter saying, "I saw Megan Rapinoe said that she would love to be competing against transgender women. And look, I'm all for it. Why don't they treat it, especially in track and field, like a marathon and everybody can compete? But when it's over, have a category for female, a category for male, and a category for transgender people?" In any case, Megan may have accused Dave of violence because of amusing jokes he made, but until she presents the proof, humor will remain humor. A fan on X, formerly Twitter, said, "Megan Rapinoe says Dave Chappelle's jokes about trans people directly lead to violence. What happened to the concept of being able to laugh at yourself?" Another added, "Megan Rapinoe thinks Dave Chappelle, comedy, and Sage Steele are responsible for trans violence, yet she couldn't provide a single example to back up her insane claim. Rapinoe is a moron." At Outkick, we will always defend comedy and the truth. Thanks for watching our video. Make sure to subscribe our channel for more celeb videos. Don't forget to like and comment. Also share it with friends and family.